So back in 2016, we have AIB, TVF, Scoop Whoop, EIC, all these big guns ruling the YouTube India market. And then out of nowhere come BBQ Wines, CarryMinati, Amit Bhadana, MostlySane, and they just take over the market. In 2017, to be exact, is when all these guys start to rise to prominence. And fast forward now to December 2019, and they're pretty much at top. Amit Bhadana, I believe, has the highest number of subscribers today in the YouTube India market, and Bhuvan has about 13 million, which is absolutely huge. Compare that to AIB or TVF or Scoop Whoop, whichever of these is still active. They only have a few million subscribers, 3 or 4 million to be precise. So why is this? How did this happen? Well, the number one reason is geo, and we're all aware of that, but we need to be more intricate with this study, because you see, geo added more internet users, so statistically speaking that should have been an advantage for AIB or TVF or any of these other guys who already had a big presence and were going to get a further boost. The problem here is that these guys were catering to a very exclusive audience, and that was the urban upper middle class audience in the Indian context. So suddenly you have some 200-300 million new people on the internet, and they're usually empowered through geo, high-speed data, which completely displaces the existing internet models at the time. You know, I still remember that back in those days, all these guys, the big internet providers in India, they were charging huge sums for 2 GB data a month or something, and then comes Jio with 1 GB a day at a very affordable price. So it completely disrupts the market. It's huge in terms of the change it brings and the amount of opportunity it creates, and it empowers the average person. You see, these people, they had never been on the internet before. These people that came in because of geo, and now they're never going to leave the internet, because a lot of them have reaped the benefits of the internet. A lot of them have now used it. Even if geo increases their prices, even if other service providers do so, these guys are going to stick around. And generally speaking, the trend is that prices go down because technology is getting better, connectivity is getting better. So the future for the internet market is that it's going to continue to grow. Back to the YouTube context. So AIB and TVF and all these guys, they get displaced. They get displaced from the throne. They're no more at the top. They're still around, some of them, as we know, but they aren't as prominent, because now the new creators are there and they're making videos in local languages. And in a sense, what this has done is it's ushered a Hindi renaissance, because we now have creators making videos in local languages, Hindi and other local languages, Bengali, Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, you name it. And not only are they getting huge numbers of views, they're also getting paid, and they're getting paid well. And brands are also recognizing this. We've seen so many creators now get sponsorships, and the market has started to come to being. It has started to establish itself, and we can now clearly see that if you want to start a YouTube channel in Hindi or in any local language, you can foresee something established. Your channel can actually be a reality, because we now have tons of examples out there of people who are already doing that. One of the best examples is Technical Guruji. So this guy, he has over 10 million subscribers, and all he did was he came into the market and he filled a very important gap, which is that there were no tech videos being made in Hindi. Now keep in mind that India is a very tech literate country. You know, people are really interested in mobile phones and laptops, in computer specifications, whatnot. So there was a huge demand for this, and of course India is a very fast growing technology market, so this was like a gold mine essentially. And kudos to technical Guruji, to Gaurav, because he's been uploading one video every day, and probably two, I'm not sure, but he's been very consistent with his videos, and he creates good consistent content, and that helped him gain 10 million subscribers, which is where he's at today. And if I'm not wrong, he's only behind Unbox Therapy now in the list of the biggest individual tech YouTube creators. So what did he do? He filled the gap, and so did Bhuvan Bam. He came in and he's made comedy videos in Hindi. Now comedy is something that is really popular, but he came in with his own brand of comedy, and he played multiple roles and he did it really well. The other thing he did is he filled in another important gap, is that he made adult comedy, and that is something that that wasn't there on television, right? And there was a huge demand for him. There was a huge demand for this type of content, and he filled that demand, and that is why he is now one of the biggest YouTubers out there. Also, MostlySane. Who is the biggest female content creator you remember before 2017-16? Well, it was Lily Singh. Although she was Canadian, she was extremely popular in the YouTube India scene because of her Indianness. But then comes MostlySane, and she makes videos in Hindi and in English, and she takes away that light that Lily Singh initially had. Now I'm not saying that Lily Singh is not followed in India anymore, but MostlySane is another example of a YouTuber who has filled a very important gap. You know, Lily Singh can make as many videos as she wants, but if she's not going to speak in Hindi, she's leaving a gap in the industry. And I can see why she doesn't speak in Hindi, because she has a sort of Western Indian centric audience, so she sticks around with English, which is fine, but it means that there were other gaps in the industry, and MostlySane filled that gap. And there is one more gap if you look at this closely, because even MostlySane makes videos in both English and Hindi. What that does is that it leaves a gap for Hindi exclusive content creators, Hindi exclusive female content creators who create more generic comedic videos. Perhaps there are a few of those YouTubers rising, none that I know of that are too prominent, but that is another gap out there, and it might be filled really soon, because the market now, as we can see, is maturing, the YouTube India market. And the tip that I would leave you with, one of the tips that I would leave you guys with, is that if you speak two languages, English and Hindi, or English and an Indian local language, or English and any other major YouTube language, so Spanish is really popular on YouTube, Arabic is really popular, there are a few other languages, Japanese, that is really popular. If you speak any one of these languages, what I would suggest you do is you look up the YouTube channels that are really popular in the English market, and you compare it to the market that exists in your local language. And what you want to do is you want to see if for every popular channel out there with a unique concept, is there an alternate channel in your language market. So if we look at say this guy Technical Guruji is making tech videos, is there someone in your market making tech videos? Chances are that such a creator is already out there, because just making generic tech videos it's a very popular practice, right? But look at the more niche ideas, right? For example, my channel, which is about making money online, and it's about YouTube analysis and stuff like that. Is there a channel for that in your local language? If there isn't, go and fill that niche. Now I'm no big creator, but it's still a market with huge potential, right? Which is why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. And I would urge you to look at more unique ideas. You know, all those food videos, all those really creative artsy videos, those top 10 videos. Look at all types of niches and compare markets and see if an alternate for that exists. Speaking of top 10 videos, you know, those top 10 strongest military countries, those types of videos. Look at that, if there's an alternate to that in your local language. If you look 3 years back from now, back in the Hindi domain, these top 10 sort of videos didn't exist. Today these videos are garnering millions and millions of views. And really the view ratio in India is absolutely astounding, the subscriber to view ratio. Just look at BBQ Wines, who with 13 million subscribers rakes in 4 or 5 million views per video, and that too in a few days. Meanwhile, PewDiePie, who has he has over 100 million subscribers, he gets only 1 million views on average per video. So just look at the contrast when it comes to the number of views per video. It's absolutely stunning. And one thing you want to keep in mind though is that a channel like BBQ Wines is a very strong brand personality, and he also uploads videos after a few weeks, so he takes his time making his videos. A channel like T-Series, which uploads 6 videos a day, is not going to get 5 million views a video like BBQ Wines does. But of course T-Series gets one-off big hits, and it has an entire industry behind it, the entire Bollywood industry. Speaking of Bollywood is now very similar to YouTube. Actually, it's the other way around. YouTube is now very similar to Bollywood, because pre-2016, pre-2017, you have YouTube, which was dominated by sort of exclusive content curating channels such as AIB, TVF, which are catering to exclusive audiences, and they very much fit the urban description, just like Bollywood does, but they're catering to their own audiences. Whereas Bollywood is smart. Bollywood has always, from the very start, they were making videos for the general public. Bollywood knows how to do business, right? So they've always been making videos for the general public. But this was new to YouTube, because that audience wasn't as prominent before. But now that audience is empowered, that audience is out there, that audience wants to consume content, and it's up to you what you make of it. There's this huge audience out there now. The average views that Indian videos are getting are way higher than the average videos the rest of the world is getting, any language. And that's understandable, because the Western world combined, if you look at just the English speaking countries, United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, United Kingdom, their combined population is some 600 million or something, 700 million maybe. India alone is double that. So, and internet connectivity is increasing. There's a huge government push to increase connectivity. Big corporates are involved. Facebook, Google, they're extending connectivity to villages. They want to get every village connected. So when there are such forces behind such a push, and as we can already foresee that internet is going to continue to expand in India, and very rapidly that too, it's just a really lucrative market to be on right now. The next 20-30 years are like the golden years of the internet in India. If you're on the internet right now, you know, you're essentially sitting on a gold mine. And this population is getting bigger, this internet population, and they're also getting richer. They are also having bigger pockets to spend money on. So it's a very lucky time. to be alive and to be in this industry, and I would suggest you make the most out of it, and you um, go and target these audiences, and um, do it the way you want. You now, if you are someone who wants to create content like AIB or TVF, you can go ahead and do that as well. Remember, AIB and TVF were huge teams full of I think some of these channels had over 100 employees. Now, even if you want to create videos like that just as an individual creator, you can go ahead and do so, because there's still a market for these types of videos as well, right? All the urban markets, to some extent the Western markets, that content can be curated to them. So there is enough market space for that type of content as well, and it's really important to do what you feel intrinsically aligned to, right? You don't want to be creating content purely out of what the audience wants, but you certainly want to incorporate that into your YouTube strategy. So I hope this video gives you some perspective on what happened back in 2016-17 and how it changed the YouTube India market. Now, if you like my channel, if you like this video, I would urge you to hit the like button, to comment and subscribe if you want more such videos, and if you want to watch videos on just on the general YouTube market, on the YouTube community, and on making money online,